Yeah, when I say 3. Good morning. I'm here to speak to you. You out there watching me on DVD. I need your attention now. Please put aside your coffee or cocktail, if that's the case. I have very, very special for you this morning. I need your undivided attention. At the count of 3, I'm going to give you a gift. 1, 2, 3. Having fun. Wish you were here. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. By the way, the address here is 707 West 47th. If you'd like to send in a check or tithe, we greatly appreciate it. How is everybody today? In the absolute sense, do you know why you're here today or how you're able to be here today? It's because 30 trillion cells have conspired to join together to create you, this body that you live in. It also does over 150,000 different things every single day just to keep you alive. Now, every cell in your body is made up of millions of molecules that have joined together in concert, collectively, to maintain the cell. And in the molecule, trillions of atoms have joined together, once again collectively, to maintain the molecule. In the atom, there is 90% space. And there's a lot of space between the atoms, and we call that space spirit. Spirit permeates your entire being. Some people call that spirit God. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it energy. Some people call it life force. But nevertheless, it is that which is everywhere present in all of us. Everywhere present. When we read this hymn earlier today, I mean, we can take this literally. If we want to call that spirit, that energy within us, God, and God is love, and that spirit provides for us everything we need freely. We don't have to beg for it. We don't have to ask for it. It is just there. That spirit provides for us what is good. It says God is life. God is a very life force within us. It enables us to manifest a physicality here in this earthly world. God is health, that which maintains the body, and God is peace. That peace is always within us. Now, just as there's a depth in the ocean that remains still and tranquil, no matter what's happening on the surface, strong winds and waves can whip around and create great turbulence, but down in the depth of the ocean, there's a space that always remains still. So it is with each and every one of us. Deep within our being, there is a space that always remains still and tranquil, no matter what's going on outside of us. And there are times when we have to go to that place within us just to maintain our sense of balance or our sense of well-being, because things outside of us are just a little bit too turbulent. Now, when we talk about God, there's many different definitions. And some of you, myself included, were raised with a definition that's a little bit different than one I just gave you. It was a definition of a God that was out there in the far reaches of the sky, sitting in a throne, looking down on all of creation, sometimes judging, sometimes punishing, sometimes being extremely dismayed because what God, He had created wasn't measuring up to His standards. And therefore, He would either punish us individually or He'd punish us collectively as a group or a community or even a species. It says in one of the books of the Old Testament that God was so dissatisfied with what He had created that He wiped them all out, except for Noah. And He told Noah and his family to get 2 of everything and put them on the ark, and we're going to start all over with this. Now, we know that's just myth. It's a fable of sorts. That didn't happen. And what I'm asking you to consider today is to just suspend for a moment whatever your concept is of God If it's a God out there in the throne, that's fine. Might be true, I don't know. But just for a moment, let's look at this in a different way. Let's look as God at that spirit, that energy deep down within us. That spirit provides for us every single thing that we need to live a comfortable and fulfilling life within our nature of being a human. God is the nature of the universe, and within that nature of the universe, there are variants, different variations of that nature. And every single living creature has a nature of its own, and that nature provides for it what it needs to be what it is. An elephant has the nature of an elephant, which provides for it what it needs to live a comfortable and fulfilling elephant life. A cat has the nature of a cat that provides for it what it needs to live a comfortable and fulfilling life. However, if that cat steps outside of its nature and tries to be a bird and fly out of a tree, it's not going to do that. It is going to collapse because it's outside its boundary of nature. Now, that being said, every single animal on this planet has a nature, and the spirit of that nature gives to it what it needs to live a comfortable and fulfilling life. And a part of that nature is stress, stress hormones. If an animal is being suddenly attacked by a predator, that stress floods the body with adrenaline. The animal is able to react and either get away or run away or think of something to ward off the attack. That's part of its nature, and that stress is good. When it comes to us human beings, we also have that stress factor. There's two hormones that make it up, and when we're facing danger of some sort that is life-threatening, it fills our body with adrenaline, and we either think or we do something to move away from the danger. Now, that kind of stress with the animal lasts for about 3 minutes until the animal is out of danger, and then it diminishes down to a normal state. With us human beings, under normal circumstances, if we're in danger, once we're out of danger, the stress hormone diminishes down to a normal state. That's a healthy state. But the thing with us is we engage in egotistical danger. And that means that when our ego is threatened, when somebody is going to criticize us, condemn us, disrespect us, or do anything that makes us feel less than we think we should be, the stress comes up as a protective device, and it doesn't go away. It stays with, it doesn't diminish in 3 minutes. 2 days later, we're still thinking about that dirty so-and-so that called us a name or did something or made us feel bad. And it's that high level of stress that has all sorts of different ramifications. We used to think that ulcers were the only thing that came out of stressful conditions. But now we know it's heart disease, we know it's digestive disorders, we know it actually can diminish brain cells, we know that it lowers our immune system, all sorts of factors. Now, I bring this up because the stress levels that we're experiencing, we as human beings, are at an all-time high. Never before in the history of existence has any living thing experienced the stress levels that we're experiencing now. You know, we have cell phones, we have internet, we have 24-hour on-the-spot news. We used to hear about what was happening in the war 2 weeks later when we got a letter. Now we're watching it happen. We're watching people get shot. We're watching the battlefields and the conflicts and the bombs going off. And all of that has an effect on us. Our life is speeded up to a point that our minds think 100 times more things than the mind of somebody just 50 years ago. The information is bombarding us constantly. In addition to that, our lives become so active that we're taking on more and more things. There's more opportunities to us, first of all, because we can travel faster and we can do things faster, but we're taking on more and more things, and the weight is a little bit too heavy for us. Between the weight of being overactive and also the weight of being overworried and the weight of being fearful about one thing or another, we have stepped outside of the nature of humanity, and we're carrying too much weight. It's just as simple as that. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we're going to go back to that space down at the very essence of your being, that spirit, that energy, and that can provide for you everything you need to live a comfortable and fulfilling life. So that being the case, if we know that, why should we ever experience extended periods of high stress? Why do we worry so much? Why do we have so many fears and anxieties outside the life-threatening type? Why do we have deep conflicts in relationships when we have everything that we need to live a life that is comfortable and fulfilling? It's there, provided for us 24 hours a day. But for some reason, somehow, we don't draw on it. We continue to overextend ourselves. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the audience today that say, well, yeah, I do a lot of things, especially mothers that have kids. You know, there's all sorts of activities that they have to go to. They have to maintain the home, and I know it's extremely stressful. Many other people have jobs that are stressful. The job place is one of the most stressful places that we can experience. As a matter of fact, it has been shown and that job stress affects 72% of the people. They experience some sort of very high stress on the job. 50% say that they expect to burn out sometime in the near future on the job. And get this, 17%, that's 1 out of 6. 1 out of 6 people say and that stress creates such anger for them that they want to strike a coworker. And I work with 12 people. And I'm always wondering who the 2 are that are going to reach out and strike me on any given day. But isn't that something? That kind of stress load? And it just doesn't come out on the job, but it's carried over to the family, to the friends, to all sorts of different things that dramatically affect the life that we're living. Now, there are 3 major causes of stress that I'm going to talk about today. And the first one is self-confidence. Just 2 minutes ago, I said that you have everything you need to live a successful and comfortable life. Yet we move down this path of life and all sorts of different things come up and we don't have the confidence to think that we can handle it. It's like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can handle what I'm being called on to handle. And for some reason, we have this high, lofty standard of it. It has to be this, absolutely perfect, or I'm not going to be looked on as a good person, when for many things, we just have to get through. And sometimes getting through means kicking and screaming and crawling and crying, and that's okay. Just get through it because we have that capability. We don't have the capability to skate through everything. Every time we try something new or something new comes into our life, there's a certain amount of difficulty. There's a certain amount of tripping and stumbling and falling. That's okay. You have what you need within you to develop the skill to move beyond it, and in doing that, you capture a higher degree of talent. Worrying about the future. I just don't know what I'll do if that happened. I don't know how I'll get through it. You doubt yourself. I doubt myself, even though there is direct evidence to prove you wrong in that conviction. I want each and every one of you right now to think back over your lifetime. Think of all the difficult things that you've encountered. Think of all the problems you've had. Think of all the challenges you've had. Think of all the upsets, the disturbances, the setbacks, the fall downs that you've had over your lifetime, and yet here you are. You have managed them. You have gone through them. You have ended standing up and moving forward, and many of those things that you went through ended up giving you a different change in life that actually benefited you. There's no evidence to prove that you cannot do the life that you want to do. So the first thing is self-confidence. The second thing is environment. Where you work, where you live, where you hang out, the neighborhood you live in. What is the environment? How does it feel? Does it feel safe? Are you feel supported by your coworkers, by your neighbors, by other people in your group? Is there a certain sense of beauty to it? Beauty is very important for us as human beings to be able to recognize. It uplifts us and gives us a little better